Hi everyone, my name is Pele Renata and I would like to show you another project that I made using the products from the latest release from Art by Marlene. This page I decided to do in the handy size journal, and I'm starting by applying two acrylic paints. The blue one is called Sky and the off-white is called the Clotted Cream. For spreading the paint I'm using one of the Art by Marlene brushes, and so the paint would blend easier I am dipping it in the water. Also, as you can see, I'm spreading the paint randomly, but still I am trying to make only vertical brush strokes because I think otherwise it would look just a bit too messy. And of course, while I still have this little bit remaining paint of my glass mat, I will use it to add some splatters. While my background was drying, I decided to start working on my focal images, and as I decided to color them with alcohol markers, I used the appropriate paper. The stamp set that I will be using is called You Got Mail, and I will stamp a mailbox, a bird and a couple of letters using Memento, as it is dye ink and works great with alcohol markers. Now for the coloring part, I usually tend to use 3 shades of same color so that my colored elements would have more dimension, but I think using 2 shades is really enough as well. Here I will show you how I colored a couple of elements, but I really feel like I should tell you I'm not really that pro at it. Anyway, it always looks better at the end when you add some shading and some highlights. When choosing the colors with which I colored my elements, I only made sure to avoid blue color elements, as I feel like they would melt into the background, while the other elements in the different colors stand out better. After coloring and fussy cutting my elements, using a black brush pen, I went all over the edges, because I think elements that way look more neat and it even gives some little bit of shadow. Now back to my background. I had an idea to make a sort of a frame for it, something a bit mailbox and post office inspired. Here I used a ruler to make straight lines, but be sure I really didn't do any kind of measuring, it was just eyeballing. Anyway, I am drawing the frame using a black Posca pen. And as you can see, I made a little bit of mess, so that's why in future I always cleaned my ruler before switching to the next corner. Now for further coloring my frame, I again used acrylic markers. I used coloring brush markers for red color and a lot of ones for the white color, but honestly just use whatever you have at hand. While doing this, if you feel like your colors are not vibrant enough, just apply second layer as I did off camera too. Now, as I always like to add some more dimension to my project, I used black pastel pencil and smudged it next to the edge so it gives more depth. I think these kind of small and discreet details are actually what makes your project stand out and look more pro. After this, I still felt like I wanted to work a bit more on my background, so I decided to do some more stamping. And as the topic of my page was mail, I decided to use one-way ticket stamp set and stamp some postal stamps and numbers. When stamping, while I still did choose a couple of random spots, as you can notice, I didn't stamp it all over my background. Instead, using a couple of different stamps, I try to make little clusters. Otherwise, if you stamp all over your background, it can just become a bit too noisy. And it makes it harder for your focal image to stand out. Now let's not forget a couple of splatters. And after that my background was done and I started adhering my elements. I had this idea to make my letters fly out of the mailbox, but for that to be a bit more obvious, I wanted one letter to be still just coming out of the mailbox. So as you can see, I am trying to make a little cut on the paper in which I could tuck in one letter. And also I will adhere it using a little piece of foam tape, so it has a little bit of dimension and natural shadow. But the rest of the elements I will adhere using Art by Marlene sticky multi-glue. While doing this, as a reminder, I would like to tell you that you can find the full list of the products that I have used in this project in the description box down below, and they are all available for sale in Joggles. I have provided affiliate links which you can use at no additional cost, while I still get some commissions from the sales, which really helps me maintain this channel for you and keep all these tutorials for free. Anyway, back to my project. After adhering all the elements, I picked a quote from the Paper Elements booklet. But first, let's not forget to draw some legs for that birdie over there. The quote I again adhered using Art by Marlene sticky glue, and after that I wanted to add some shadows to the rest of the elements. When adding shadows you can use so many different mediums. You can use markers, watercolors, simple pencil, or just like in my case, watercolor pencils. As you might have noticed, I never forgot to add shadows because I really do believe they elevate your project. In this particular case, I am using Stabilo All watercolor pencil in black color. Also, the water brush that I am using comes from Studio Light. And that's about it for this project. And I must say I'm really enjoying this new collection from Art by Marlene. And if you're curious to see another project which I did with this latest release, check out the video which I will link at the end. Bye!